What it immediately triggers to me is two things. One is you look at the development that we're doing with our Barcelona team and how we're trying to build, bring best in class technology to the customers. We've got conversion rate about 50% of our projects now are running through, some form of neural machine translation. And the issue is always this ability to context switch and really drive, specific voice, tone, and style. Glass half full. I think what it's really done, and when this type of technology really does, it helps to separate the value for the linguists. So in the past, half of their value was like, get it into French, and half of their value was voice, tone, and style, and actually customer engagement, customer experience and customer outcome. And I think where we've seen AI, it really helps get rid of the raw French sort of thing, right? It can drive a lot of efficiency providing a French. And then that allows the linguist to move up with some training and support from our customers up the value chain to really focus on customer engagement and customization to culture and language. And that produces more sticky customers, and better outcomes. And so I see the sort of stuff that Google's doing here, with the supercomputer development and their PLM activity. And it's fascinating to me because we know that as they drive the ability to speak more closely to the requirements of the market by context switching, it's going to drive better quality output, which allows us to increasingly focus the linguistic effort on in-market adoption, support, and customer experience. So to me, it seems like a great dial. So, that's what it triggers to me, that we're constantly looking for innovation. We're constantly trying to drive that innovation back to our customers. Ultimately, cognitive platforms, AI platforms are going to be owned by large-scale global software players. And our job is really about taking the best of breed from those software players, Google or Microsoft or Amazon, whoever's coming up with the best cognitive platform, and finding ways to provide value to our customers. So I think it's good. One thing I'd say on a human level it triggers me at a human level a little bit is there's always an 80-20, right? And maybe it's not exact, but there's Pareto analysis, right? But it seems to really apply to most things. And I sort of think about it from, I like stereos and I like bikes. And so I would say from a human perspective, there's this concept where I can buy for my bicycle like a gear set, right? And I bike all the time, right? So and I can buy an old Tegra gear set, and it's basically like $1,000, maybe like $700, right, for the gearing and the brakes and stuff like that. And it's awesome, and it's considered premium, and it's considered to be a pretty good one. But I can buy one more above that called Dura Ace, and it is literally 5% better, but it costs 150% more. And so I've spent a ton more money to get a tiny little bit better. Now I do have the logo, right? So then I could put, Dura Ace on my bike instead of Ultegra. But it's but you see it in hi-fis, you see it in handbags, you see it in virtually every area. Once you get past that 80%, for a tiny fraction more, you're paying 150% more, and that's a lot. And I think what we're starting to see in the MT realm is a little bit like that. Now, to run a supercomputer costs about $500 million a year in electricity. That's the same as a small town, or a medium town, actually. It's the same as like a medium town. So now what we're doing, right? We got the 80%, and the AI has been a phenomenal success story for the industry, I think, over the last couple of years, because it is doing this thing about focusing the real value of linguistic output. But now we're getting into this 80-20 thing, I think, and I think we're starting to spend, electricity and carbon consumption at a level to get a fractional improvement. And I think as a society, we are one output of AI, right? Language industry is definitely an output of AI, but we're not the only. I mean, AI applies to every industry. And we're starting to get to the point where, okay, so for me to replace a lot of core, really unnecessary human tasks to get raw language output, awesome. We should do it, and it's cost effective. It seems like a decent balance. It's definitely something we yield to our customers all the time, works well. Now we're talking about using a supercomputer for $500 million worth of electricity a year to get me 4% better, 3% better. And that's not a cost for me and my bike and my bank account. That's a cost for our planet. And I think we got to start to think maybe like, at what point do we want to drive even better AI outputs when it starts to come at a planetary sort of cost? And I don't want to like blow it up into like, okay, like this is the moment and this is the one decision around natural language processing, because I'm sure it isn't. But it's interesting to me that we're getting into that 80-20, where now we're starting to drive an investment in technology that has a real human impact and cost in terms of our planet, and we're getting 2%, 3% better. Like, and I think perhaps, we need to think like, is it really worth it? So NetNet's super excited. Like, everybody's working on computer efficiency too. So hopefully we'll drive computer efficiency and we'll be able to bring it. I think in the short term, the idea that we are getting better quality language models that we can yield to our customers and work out how to implement that technology into solutions that can drive a better focus on engagement and outcome. I love it. I think it's really exciting. But I do think there's a little note of warning here that we're getting into this 80-20 area. And as a society, AI is going to raise a lot of questions. And I think this is one of those societal sort of questions where you got to work out, is it really worth it? Is it really yielding the value? And at what cost does that value come? So, but great to, as ever, people are innovating, people are driving forward like we're an amazing species. As much as we hear bad news all the time, I think this is an example of where, science and technology is really remarkable. It's driving us, into new frontiers. And even if it comes with some questions from a moral point of view, like those questions can be addressed, answered, and discussed too. And I think it's great that we are driving something forward that has tremendous potential for all of us.